Alright, here we go. We're live. Audio check, please. Is everything okay? Can you hear me fine? Can you see everything okay? This is going to be a good one. Actually, not so much because of what Bitcoin's doing, although it is going to be the focus. What I'm actually a lot more excited by is what's happening on Ethereum. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So, as we go along, please let me know, does the audio work okay? Can you hear me fine? Is everything okay so that I know if there is a technical issue that I can resolve it before I end up talking to myself like an idiot. And really what I want to start with, thank you very much, Dinesh, what I want to start with is talking about this dump that we have at the moment. I spoke about it in the last video where I was talking to you along the lines of, it says I'm offline, where I was talking to you guys along the lines of, Bitcoin potentially falling down from this rising wedge, which is what conventional markets do. But then I followed it up with saying that actually Bitcoin usually just pumps straight out of these things, and that is a very, very nice thing for me to see. And you know what? It seems like Bitcoin had the chance to do that again today. It seems like Bitcoin really had the opportunity to dump quite massively with this price action today. As you can see, we have had a pretty decent sell-off candle with a wick that took us quite low. And actually, this sell-off, like I was showing you right at the beginning, this sell-off actually hit Ethereum much harder than Bitcoin. And actually, across the market, it hit all altcoins a lot harder. Take a look at bcash, just absolutely nosediving down by 4.5%, which is actually a little bit more than Ethereum. And what we have to keep in mind with bcash's loss over here is that it's down by 4.5% against Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is also down today by a little bit more than 0.2%. So these are impressive losses. We're seeing this on the S&P 500 too. The global indices markets also taking a bit of a tumble. So I think that this is absolutely one of those situations where, again, the cryptocurrency markets are correlated with the real world markets. As I'm going along, please do drop your questions in the comment section and I'll get to them. This dump, let's examine this dump. It's not as bad as it looks, but I think that it could be a sign of bad things to come. The reason for that is it's come at a time where we've now been, trading in a continuation pattern for a little bit. We're up to 5 days within this continuation pattern now, and to put this in perspective, our previous continuation patterns, they haven't been nearly as long as this. Let's calculate this really quick. We're going to be very rough with it. This one over here, this continuation pattern. Actually, before I continue, I should say what a continuation pattern is for those of you who don't know. In a market, you'll have the market trending, and then the market will usually do something where it just kind of stops trending. It does something weird and just kind of trades sideways, and then the market continues moving. This section over here is what I would call a continuation pattern. This is like one of the most simple little bits of TA, and you always see it with my analysis. It's always super simple. I make a big point out of this. I don't try to compensate for analysis skills that I don't have by throwing on a million different indicators. It's very simple for me. So you get continuation patterns like this, which is kind of what this one was. Sometimes you get continuation patterns where you trade downwards, which was kind of like this one over here, and then the trend continues trading higher. So let's take a look at this as far as time frames go. And this one over here, this was very short. The market was already trending higher. This one took 18 hours, and then bam, we made our next move. The next one was 15 hours. And the next one was actually quite long. This was 9 days long until we carried on trading higher. But then we were looking at only 21 hours. From that point, this was a very small falling wedge. We were looking at 6 hours, and a similar case over here, we were only looking about 8 hours. This one is now 5 days. And so we're noticing a very common pattern here. Continuation patterns are usually pretty quick in groups, and then they get very long, and then we space it out with more short-term continuation patterns until we have a long-term pattern again. And so that is to say, if I had to put a number on it, and I don't like to do this because it's not very scientific at all, but this is all about just kind of getting a feel for how these things work. This is a case where, continuation patterns will, you might get 2 short continuation patterns and then 1 long continuation, or maybe it's more, the ratio is more like 4 to 1. This is very weird to do with arrows, but I think that's more like the ratio. So you'd have 4 short-term continuation patterns followed by 1 longer-term continuation pattern. I've lost my chart now. Here we go. I think we're having some connection issues on this stream right now. Bear with me. Let me know if the stream quality is all okay. Please keep dropping these comments, letting me know that everything's fine. But what we do have over here, I think, is one of those longer-term continuation patterns. And that, to me, is very exciting, because what it means for me, in my opinion, is that if Bitcoin is able to break out of this, then I would expect very quick, sharp moves all the way up to resistance at about $13,800 or $14,000. And so, you know, we could just be in one of those. The risk here, where it's actually not that simple and actually potentially a little bit dangerous where Bitcoin is at the moment, actually comes from the fact that, you know, we are 5 days in and we've had a sharp drop down to this level. And the way these kind of things might be working, and we actually saw this very recently, it was what happened over here, right? So Bitcoin, it was doing exactly the same thing that Bitcoin is doing right now. Take a look at this. We were trading upwards in a rising wedge, and then we did end up kind of breaking the high, but then we started setting a series of continuation patterns to the downside, right? Take a look at this. The trend started going downwards from here, and then we fought the trend and we broke down, fought the trend, broke down, fought the trend, and broke down. And you can see how we had progressively longer continuation patterns. This one was, I don't know, let's call it 2 days. This one was 3 days. Then this one was 5 days. And then bam, it was half a day. I mean, this is very rough. I don't really care what the numbers are, but the pattern is clear that it gets a little bit longer, then it gets very long, and then the next one is very short. This is how momentum shifts in the market, in my experience, and so I think that is quite a clear sign of Bitcoin potentially being ready to make a big move. But the thing, that the parallel that I wanted to show you, the parallel that I wanted to draw with this market back in August of 2020, which was only 2 months ago, is we did set this high, and what looked like a typical kind of start of a recovery to trade higher actually turned out to be the first of a series of rising wedges where we ended up, oh god, this is terrible, right? Okay, I'm gonna have to switch Wi-Fi, give me a second. All right, I did have issues with the with the wired connection coming off, but hopefully it is all fixed now. Please again drop me a comment and let me know if oh god, I'm having a lot of getting some connection issues. Let me know if everything is okay. I'm just dropping this in the comments. This is why I don't do live streams every day. It's because, you know, sometimes you do have queues and they are just completely unexpected. But hopefully this does work fine from now. No, it's absolutely just not working at all. Right, hang on. Down, and I honestly think that the longer this goes on for, the more concerning it gets. So that's why I'm trying to make sure that I can, you know, basically position myself in case these things go wrong. You know, an example is I did end up taking a little bit of profit off the table with the trade that I was making within the VIP group, where I showed members that I was in a 60% profit, and that was purely because I was looking to, you know, just manage my risk a little bit more, because I think that when we are 5 days in, the risks of the chance of a breakout in either direction does go up by quite a bit, and so hopefully it is going to go upwards. But if it does go downwards, I would just like my risk to be controlled a little bit more. It's kind of like when I told you about breaking out of the triangle over here, and I was saying that each new bit of action we get is very significant. I started saying this when Bitcoin was around here. I was saying that each new bit of price action was, in my opinion, quite significant, and that would mean that if Bitcoin is trading towards the high end, I would take it more seriously. If it's trading towards the low end, I would take it more seriously than anything that happened over here, simply because we're nearing the end of this pattern, so I would have expected a breakout very, very soon. That thinking turned out to serve me very, very well, and it's exactly what I have in mind at the moment as well. So there you go. As far as the kind of support goes, Bitcoin's doing very well. I showed you the Ichimoku Cloud in my last video, and let's take a look at this. It is looking very good. We ended up falling right into this cloud, and we're getting a nice start of a bounce. Hopefully we can bounce completely out of the cloud and find really, really good support within this area. But if not, you know, it could turn out to be one of those situations where we get an initial bounce and then we just kind of fluster around, we don't really do anything. Hopefully that's not going to be the case. The bad news continues though when we zoom out, and it really, I mean, it's not necessarily bad news, but it's not particularly amazing either, which is where, in my view, what we have at the moment in this market is a lot of really, really good support, you know, on the 4-hour time frame, on the 1-day time frame, for example. But the problem is that the support is really far away. The problem is that the support is, you know, it's all the way down at the bottom of the $12,000 range. And, you know, to put that in perspective, we are at 13,000 right now. So if we do end up falling down to this line, we would be looking at a 7.5% drop, which could obviously be quite nasty for Bitcoin. Like I said, I think it would be very nice because we do get to confirm these bullish support areas. My only problem with it is that, you know, we might not actually, you know, we would see a relatively large dump to get there. You know, 7.5% down isn't something to just, you know, laugh at. You know, I think it is something to be taken seriously. Moving on, though, it could get a lot worse than that. And I want to talk about what the worst case scenarios with Bitcoin are at the moment. You know, the biggest and most potent worst case scenario that I see with Bitcoin really is that it comes down to start filling all of these CME gaps. And I think, you know, just by saying this, I might have angered a lot of people because they would be thinking that this is BS and it's not going to happen and it's not important. And honestly, I would agree with you, but when we're at stages where it just seems so unlikely that these kind of things would happen, I have to start thinking that maybe there is a higher risk of it happening. And this doesn't really, you know, I don't really care about the analysis side of it, right? Like, I don't really care if I get it right or wrong, but as far as trading goes, this does mean that, you know, for example, I, as a trader who is currently in a position, I need to take this very seriously, and I need to start taking profits off the table. I need to start looking at closing positions. You know, I was stopped out at break even on the rest of my Ethereum trade after I closed a beautiful 45% profit, something around there. And so you know, I always look to minimize my risk, bring my risk back to zero before I enter new positions. And as a trader, I think that this is something which I should be taking quite seriously. So there we go. Potentially coming down to fill those CME gaps could be something of interest for this market. And if we switch it over to Coinbase, apparently I don't have anything drawn on Coinbase. Let me refresh this page. I've no idea what's going on with the connection at the moment. Never happened before. This badly anyway. But there we go, I've got everything back on Coinbase. And if we take a look at where those CME gaps are, I believe we've got one, like, yeah, right around 11.6. Yeah, there's a, just off memory, there's a CME gap around here, something like that. And then obviously I think there's the more potent ones, which are all the way down in the $9,600, $9,700 relative area. And that could also be you know, a problem for Bitcoin. You know, it might be that Bitcoin is going to end up coming down to fill these gaps. I don't think that there's a huge chance of that, but I do know that, I mean, so far they have been unfilled, and it can take a long time. So, you know, the longer it takes, the more unlikely it becomes, in my opinion. But I don't think that we're completely out of the woods yet as far as these things go. So that's kind of that's another thing which is quite important. I think the other factor which is important to consider is that you know, history can repeat. You know, what I showed you in the last video is that Bitcoin had a very good weekly close, right? And I'm not going to go over it again because I've already spoken about it at length in the last video, but we did have a very good weekly close yesterday where Bitcoin managed to close its candle above the $12,000 level. And the last time that I showed you this happened was not in August of 2020. It was not in August of 2019 or at any point in 2019. It goes all the way back to January of 2018. So it's been a very, very long time since Bitcoin has been able to close a candle above this yellow line, which I think is a big factor to make us just excited and honestly proud, for lack of a better word, with this market right now. You know, something that could definitely, just make us feel, as a measure of progress, make us feel good with the market. But at the same time, the last time Bitcoin did get here, regardless of where we closed, Bitcoin did end up getting a rejection off this level. And so it could be that history is looking to repeat itself. Honestly, I don't think there was any real reason for Bitcoin to stop over here, yet it did stop. So again, this is a very unscientific approach, but it could definitely be a case of this ends up playing some significance within this market where, just kind of repeat themselves. And then I think another big factor which I want to consider is the bearish divergences we're seeing on this chart. I don't usually take a lot of interest in these things because I don't like the RSI as an indicator. I think it's very unreliable, and there's very, very good examples of this where, the market is in overbought territory, so to speak, where, it's trading right over, the market was at 11,900 and the RSI was telling you that it's overbought. And a lot of people's interpretation of this would mean that Bitcoin has to go down. But actually, it's a very dangerous interpretation because, you would have lost out on a lot of potential money, or even worse, you would have lost money if you were going off the RSI in this case. And so actually, the reason I don't like the RSI is it's almost too simple. I don't like anything that is used as a tool to cover up poor basic analysis skills. And basic analysis skills, in my opinion, are just being able to look at things like horizontal lines and horizontal support resistance levels with boxes and stuff like that. And anything that kind of seeks to compensate for a lack of those skills, such as the RSI indicator, or any of the hundreds of thousands of, I'm sure, just amazing numbers of indicators here, and people get very, very excited by these things because they think that they're really going to change their trading and stuff like that. I don't like any of those. They're like crutches. It's almost like to give you one of my classic bad analogies, it's like wearing a posture corrector. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it is where you will literally put on like a backpack on your back, which forces you into a straight back position, which is good for you, but it's a posture corrector, right? It's not you actually having good posture. It's just something forcing you into that posture, and as soon as you take it off, you have no dependency. These are really, really problematic. It's not authentic. It's very it's as a trader, it means that you don't really know what you're doing. Why is everyone putting numbers in the chat? What's going on in the chat right now? And so I don't really, what's going on there? Is there like okay, I see. So people are trying to poll each other in the chat. I thought there was another scammer, which always pisses me off. But yeah, so I think that that just going off this, is a little bit risky. It's not what I prefer to do, but nonetheless, we do have, and the reason I'm looking at it is we do have a very, very potent bearish divergence on this chart. We have moved up very, very nicely with the trend on the RSI, but now the RSI is dipping very low. In fact, right now we're almost at neutral territory. We pretty much are at neutral territory. The RSI is showing a reading of 54 roughly, which is right in neutral territory. And I just don't like the idea that the RSI, which is our relative strength indicator, I don't like the idea that this RSI, this relative strength indicator, is actually showing us that we're losing strength in the market. I don't want to see that we're losing strength in the market while we are literally trading within the middle of two important ranges, right? You heard me talk about this quite a lot in recent videos. I'm going to be covering this in future videos even more, with much more in-depth explanations, by the way. So if you want to catch those videos, then do make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on that. Also turn your notifications on so you can gain access to these videos and live streams as soon as possible, because obviously they're very, very time sensitive. So if you haven't subscribed already, it really helps out the channel. Please do that. But moving back to the chart over here, we are, and this is what's so concerning to me, we are showing neutral signs of strength, where the market isn't necessarily strong, but it's not weak either. We are showing these signs of neutrality right in the middle of a very important price range. I mean, it couldn't be worse with this timing, right? Let's really take a look at this. I've already defined these two areas, the $12,000 area as support and the $13,800 area as resistance. And I mean, it couldn't be worse right now. We are right in the middle of it, and this is where we're showing a loss of momentum. This is really what a bearish divergence is. The bearish divergence will quite simply be telling you that the trend is losing momentum, and we can see that. We can actually tell that quite clearly. We can see that the trend is losing momentum over here because the price was previously rising very quickly, and now it's rising quite a bit slower, and I think that is a concerning sign. I see the trend losing momentum when it is right in the middle of a range. I mean, that could to me be a sign of Bitcoin potentially getting ready to take some pretty deep dives, and again, it's you know, I would like it to complete its rally all the way upwards, even though I do think it would be nice to see a I think it would be nice to see a bounce off some of these support levels. It's just, you know, once we do start dropping, panic might start setting in, and like I said, there are quite a few good reasons to expect Bitcoin to potentially drop quite low. Let's actually zoom out to the daily chart as well, and the other thing that I want to stick to while I am talking about the bearish side of things, which I will stop talking about after this, is that there's not a whole lot of support until Bitcoin kind of falls into the $10,000 area again, or even below it, right? Let's take a look at this. Let's just plot these lines. We've got the $12,000 area, or in fact, you know what? Let's just make this easy, and I'm going to use the VPVR. So let me take off all of these drawings, and if you don't know what the VPVR is, then I do have a tutorial on it, which you can gain access to by typing this into YouTube. So if you're watching this on your computer, you can open a new tab and get ready to watch this as soon as the live stream is done. It is a very useful indicator in my opinion. Unfortunately, it's only available on a paid plan with TradingView. You need any paid plan with TradingView. Literally any paid plan with TradingView will allow you to gain access to this indicator, but you do need one of them in order to use it. And if you do want it, then there is a link in the description where you can actually pay for TradingView using Bitcoin, which is really cool in my opinion. But throwing this indicator on, let's refresh the page so it does actually load up. Again, I have no idea why these issues are here, so I'm going to have to test this with more live. I always test my live streams before I go live. That's why I take a little bit longer, but I'm gonna have to do it a little bit more extensively next time. But letting this VPVR load, switching it over to the daily time frame, we can start to visualize what this indicator is forecasting as, you know, where we might end up finding a little bit of support. And I think this picture is quite clear. I'm going to drop a line at every point that the VPVR spikes. Let's remove this line here. We've got one spike at 11.7, another spike at 11.3, and another relative spike around there, and then the next one, the biggest one, until we fall down to $3,000, the biggest one is at 9,000. And you know, the concern here for me is if we do end up getting big dumps, then you know, there's going to be a little bit of momentum, in my opinion, behind these big dumps, right? I mean, we could be seeing momentum behind a dump that takes us down to this support area, for example, which is $1,200. And with momentum, you start to get fear, you start to get uncertainty and doubt. You even start to get people having a fear of missing out, where they want to get out of their positions very quickly. Maybe they want to short the market and make money on the way down, which, as you know, is something that I like to do. And so, you know, you do start to get quite a bit of emotion in the market at times where the price drops massively. And the concern for me is when that emotion does come in, when these kind of things do turn a little bit more sour and things start getting a little bit more concerning, we do tend to fall down to the point of control on the chart. Actually, the point of control is all the way down here, but if I zoom in, that picture changes and you can see the point of control is right here. And we do typically end up falling to the point of control when you do get those kind of very bearish high momentum sell-offs, and that could mean we start dumping quite low. I don't think that would be particularly bad. I'm curious if there is a Fibonacci level. I haven't actually checked this, but let's see if there is. And yeah, there is. It's this area is kind of between the 0.5 and the 382 level. 618 is still all the way down here, and so maybe not. Let's actually throw this on to, again, more connection is just very annoying. Let's actually throw this up all the way to $13,800, and we can see, yeah, like right around here, we are starting to get a 0.5 Fibonacci support level. I don't think it's anything huge, but at least there is something here, and it could give us some reason to potentially drop a little bit lower. Harris saying draw fib up to 14k. Yeah, that's exactly what I did here, and it does show us a little bit of significance at this price level, and that is what starts to get concerning for me. There's not a whole lot of strong support between here and the $9,000 area. Again, it's only concerning to me in the sense that it wouldn't be as fun as Bitcoin going up, but as far as profit making opportunities go, profit taking opportunities go, I think it's still pretty nice. I think that the fact that Bitcoin could has the potential to fall down here and start filling some of these CME gaps is pretty cool, because I would love to open a long position over here. If we know that Bitcoin should have a very easy time rising back up from this point, then don't you think that this would be a really, really good entry? I certainly do. I think it's one of those situations where if you do drop this much, then I think the momentum would only carry us this low, and once we do get down to this level, this support area is very, very strong. I mean, take a look at all of the trading that's happened around this level. We had our initial rejection on this parabolic rally. We've had a bunch of support hits. We've had a little bit of consolidation, more support and resistance, and then just a whole mess over here with support, resistance, and everything in between at this yellow line. And so I really think that it could almost be a magnetic pull on this trend. And I mean, just imagine how it might look. Let me take off all of these drawings because they do look really, really weird. And I'm just going to put one line down at this $9,000 area, this point of control. And I just want to, I just want you to visualize it really quick. Maybe we end up getting a bit of a bounce over here, but this could take a couple of months. And I think it would look really, really healthy if Bitcoin was able to, moving into, maybe not even taking that long, maybe just going into the new year, right? Something a little bit like this. Bitcoin able to find some support off here, and then bang, we start looking at Q1, Q2 of next year. Bitcoin finally does make that breakout. I think that would be so much more safe and healthy for this trend, and so we do have some early warning signs of this happening. The risk of all of this is still really low. I'm talking in hypotheticals right now, but I think that nonetheless it is very, very interesting, and I'm actually going to be making more of those macro analysis videos as well. So once again, I know that there are quite a few new viewers to this channel, people who've just seen this channel for the first time because we are doing a live stream today. So if you do want to gain access to more of these videos, you want to see what I've got next, I've got some really, really good breakdown videos on the trades that I've been making coming up very soon. I've already done one of them recently. I forgot what the video is called, but it was a very, very good video. I did say it was the best video I've ever made, and I completely stand by that. It was called My 3 Key Steps to 87% Profit. So literally, if you haven't seen that video yet, please open a new tab and watch it. I've never said that this was my best video ever. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I mean it for this one. So that was very, very cool. So definitely subscribe and check out that video if you haven't already. And if we can shoot up the likes, by the way, we're 30 minutes in, really love all of your support. If we can shoot up these likes, it does help with the algorithm and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not easy to make these videos and get behind the microphone on a very, very regular basis with pretty much no breaks, and any love and support always does go a long way. What I want to take your attention to now is on Ethereum. I have already been trading Bitcoin. I am currently in something like a 70% profit on Bitcoin, which you guys have seen exactly how I pulled. We've got a screenshot over here of, this is the wrong screenshot, of where I did end up closing a nice 67% profit actually earlier today. VIPs have seen exactly how I did it, and if you want to gain access to VIP, then we are running a discount right now. There is a beautiful 50% discount on VIP. It's going to be ending very, very soon. There's actually a post about that going live very soon as well. So definitely follow these steps if you want to gain access to it. But Thank you very much, Mark, saying that I'm killing the streams. I love getting on streams as well. I want to take your attention over to Ethereum, because here's the thing. If we zoom into Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin did take a bit of a beating today, right? I mean, from high to low today, we ended up dropping by 3.5%, which is a decent bit of price action. We are now making a recovery, but we did drop by quite a bit. However, if I overlay the Ethereum chart on top of what Bitcoin has done today, Ethereum actually got hit a lot harder. Take a look at this. Let's wait for this to, it's not going to load up. I've got to refresh the page again. Absolutely terrible. No idea why this is happening so much. But if we do zoom into the 1 hour time frame and really take a look at what's going on with Ethereum right here, we do have a situation where Ethereum has gotten just absolutely destroyed compared to Bitcoin. I mean, these charts are overlaid, and so these moves are supposed to look relatively similar. But with Bitcoin's move compared to Ethereum, I mean, it's just an absolute joke. Bitcoin is down by 3.5% today from high to low. Ethereum, however, let's take a look at this. I believe, yeah, today's the 26th. From this high all the way down to this low, Ethereum has seen a 7% drop. So Ethereum has literally dropped by double of what Bitcoin dropped by, which I think is a pretty interesting sign. Like I said, it did mean that I got stopped out at break even. I entered a long position on Ethereum roughly around here at this green line, and I did ride it all the way up to the top. I closed some really nice profits on the way up. Like I said, a 45% profit, which was absolutely beautiful. All of these trades that I mentioned, I have been telling you about them publicly. So I told you about all of these trades, the ones right here, the ones that I pulled a month ago on Ethereum as well, 180% profit, very, very nice stuff. I've told you all about them before they even opened publicly, but VIPs have seen exactly how I've been trading those things. We've seen amazing results this month. Take a look at this member over here with 130% profit right here, followed by 50%, 82%, 61%, all in the last 3 days. And it was absolutely insane. I mean, this person definitely getting what you paid for with a beautiful collection of trades just in that cluster alone. But this person has actually been sending me dope messages like this continuously since July. So we're going back like 3 months now, a little bit more than 3 months potentially, that this person has been killing the markets within the VIP group. Really, really cool stuff. And if you want to see, and this is the continuation of that, I believe, really, really just slaying the market. If you want to see exactly what these people have had access to kind of make these gains, like I showed you that before, this member, one of our best members ever, pulling a 50k profit within just a week. I mean, just absolutely killing, making more money than I do, in fact. And from trading, really, really slaying the markets. I think he has become a better trader than I have. Student becoming the master kind of thing. Really, really doing very well. Hopefully, I'm going to be meeting him very soon as well. I want to get him on a podcast, so that would be very, very interesting. This person actually took our yearly plan with free access to our advanced academy. It is an amazing, very, very in-depth course, over 10 hours of content. Just ask me for details on those things by following these steps. It will take you less than 30 seconds. You can do it now and pause the live stream and then come back. But moving back to the chart over here, Ethereum did end up taking a bit of a beating here compared to Bitcoin, but I think the good news here, if we do zoom out, is Ethereum has only fallen down to a crucial area of support. Take a look at this. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to remove these boxes. We don't need, actually, I'll just extend this box. If we do look at where Ethereum kind of started to find some support today, let me refresh this. If we do look at where Ethereum started to find some support today, it was around the $380 level, and there is actually quite a bit of support at this price level. So take a look at this. Let's remove these boxes again, take off this indicator, which we don't need. And really just examine where my crosshair is right now. And actually, we can see that there has been quite a bit of support at this price area for quite a while. Take a look at this. There's been a lot of trading, a lot of resistance that we found with the Ethereum chart going back to August of 2020. This is only 2 months ago. We were finding a decent bit of support in this range, and then and then we were even finding resistance here. This was that big 180% profit that I keep telling you guys about. This was that trade. It was very easy to see coming. I was telling you about it for quite a while before I actually made that move, and then it did play out just exactly as I planned. I was very, very happy with it. And then, as you can see, we were finding we were finding resistance here. So, and even as recently as this month, we were finding resistance in the $380, $390 range. And so I think it's only right that we ended up falling down this low. I think the reason that Bitcoin, I mean Ethereum, did end up dropping this much on this chart was actually because it just has more aggressive price action than Bitcoin. You know, when Bitcoin is really popping off and then Bitcoin finally gets a chance to breathe, I think, yes, again, cutting out there, as I was saying, when Bitcoin does really pop off and then it starts to breathe, that is when Ethereum really starts to shoot up. And it was literally the next day that this happens. That's why I entered this trade. And like I said, all of the trades that I enter, VIPs get access to the information about them exactly when I decided about them. I mean, VIPs see exactly what I want to trade and when I trade it, all happening in real time. You can gain access to it by pausing here and following these steps. But I think that, you know, with Ethereum being a little bit more extreme than Bitcoin in all cases, it did definitely, you know, have good reason for dropping this low. But then I think the flip side to it is if Bitcoin does make its recovery, I would expect Ethereum to follow suit quite soon afterwards. And I think it has a lot more to gain than Bitcoin. You know, I'm not really disappointed or upset with what's happening on Ethereum at the moment, because it has found support in a very, very good area, and I think that for that reason alone, you know, it could actually be showing us that it's still got quite a bit of bullish momentum within this chart, just as it stands at the moment. So that is pretty cool. What else have we got? Let's see what the Ichimoku Cloud and things are. As I'm going along now, I've covered the bulk of my analysis. I do want to take your questions. So as I am going along, please do drop your comments, drop your questions, and let me know exactly what you'd like me to take a look at, if you want me to see a certain chart, or if you have any particular questions about this trend, for example. Ethereum, look at this. It ended up falling right down to this Ichimoku Cloud. We got a wick basically right off the green line over there. It couldn't really get more perfect than this, so I'm very, very happy with Ethereum's performance in this case. I've made a video on the Ichimoku Cloud as well. If you want to get it, then you can type this into YouTube, Ichimoku FORFLIES. You can type this into YouTube to see my Ichimoku Cloud tutorial, and I think right here, like I always say, the first line on the Ichimoku Cloud and the red line is always the most important line. Those two are always the most God, this connection's terrible. By the way, can you let me know in the comments, am I cutting out for you, or is it just me? Please let me know. But going back to the Ichimoku Cloud, like I said, we did get a very, very nice bounce off the cloud, and I think that does, definitely give me quite a bit of reassurance with Ethereum that even though we did get quite a big dip, this still isn't a bad situation. So that's something I'm interested in keeping my eyes on. Harris asking, FORFLIES notice the pump past 13,200. Let's move over to Bitcoin so I can take a look at this. Yeah, cutting in and out. That's how it's looking for me as well. It's very annoying. I'm sorry for this. Hopefully the recording isn't as bad. Harris is asking, notice the pump past 13,200, almost immediately reversed. Pretty clear now that Bitcoin does not want to move on the weekends, like while futures are closed. That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but I think that, if we kind of go back and start looking at where the weekends are and we plot some vertical lines, I'm not going to do that. That sounds like a lot of work, but if we do, let's just do it for the latest weekend, which ended yesterday. So these 2 days were a weekend. We did push resistance on both of these days, and we got rejected on both of these days. Take a look at this. So only on the Sunday actually did we push the resistance level, and we did get rejected. And actually, I think these are more good signs. The market is showing us for the most part that it wants to actually trade upwards only when the futures are able to confirm this kind of price action. So I think that's pretty good. I'm definitely reassured by this price action. You know, any price action that happens, I would like it to be confirmed by the futures price action as well. The kind of things that we see on the CME markets and different things like that, purely because I think that those are very good gauges overall for where Bitcoin could be going, and the fact that we are waiting for those markets before we make these big moves. Yeah, it is a good sign. I mean, you know, the less gaps we have on this chart, the better, in my opinion. Another question saying, I haven't used the EMA ribbon for quite a long time. Do I still use it in my analysis? Very good question, Semyon. I do use the EMA ribbon. I actually used it in the last video. The EMA ribbon, for those of you who don't know, is a set of exponential moving averages. If you don't know what that is, then it's basically the same as a regular moving average, which you can Google if you don't know what that is. But the EMAs will give a little bit more weighting to the recent price action. So it's good for a market that's on cocaine, like Bitcoin. So I've just got a collection of random numbers here. This is just what I like to choose, and it does form a very colorful and nice to look at ribbon. And I do use it. I did use it in my latest video, but I think the issue with this is it doesn't show very well until the market is trending, which was pretty much like at this point when the market started to trend, which means that it's not useful in most cases. And actually it is a lagging indicator. It's been less useful just pretty much, once again with the cutting out, this indicator has been less useful, you know, since I would say the beginning of 2019. It was much more useful. Yeah, I think the last time that it was very, very useful would have been in the first half of 2019. After, you know, July and onwards, it's been okay, but it's not been very, very good. So I haven't looked at it much. But it's one of those indicators where there is a time and a place, and I don't think we're at that time and place right now, so I don't talk about it too much. But again, this is one of those indicators that is just supplementary for me. You know, it's only going to supplement my main analysis. It's never going to, the exponential moving average will never be the main source of my analysis. It will always just be a supplement for what I'm doing. So there we go. Those are two of the questions. Eva wants me to take a look at Litecoin. I'm not going to look at Litecoin in this live stream because I have been covering that with VIPs. Of course, as I say, VIP members know exactly what I'm trading and when I'm trading it. All of that information in real time. Beautiful profits over here. This person sent me quite a few screenshots of his gains, which was very, very fun to watch. And I share all of the details on the exact trades I'm even considering before I enter them. That's what I did, for example, when I made this 87% profit on Tron. I was telling VIP members that I wanted to make this move on Tron days before I made it, and then hours before, and then I finally entered it. Litecoin is one of those things where I am keeping that just for VIP members. So definitely take a look at that. Follow these steps if you want to find out what our offer is. It is very aggressive, but it's ending very soon with our huge, biggest ever 50% discount that we've offered. So definitely reach out to find out what's going on there. You can just pause the live stream and see what the details are, and then come right back. What else have we got here? We have already looked at the Ichimoku Cloud. The one thing I haven't done, if we switch over to the daily time frame, the one thing that I haven't done actually is looked at it on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, and actually, you know, I mean, it's not a reassuring picture. The good news is that this cloud of support is getting higher, in my opinion. It's not really an opinion. Yeah, I mean, in my view, this cloud is getting higher, and I want to see it keep getting higher so that this cloud can now confirm this $12,000 area of support. If it does, I'm going to be very, very happy, because we're going to be seeing multiple timeframes confirming the same area of support with multiple indicators. The 4-hour Ichimoku Cloud, for example, is doing this perfectly. The 6-hour, which I never look at, is doing it a little bit better. 8-hour as well. We can just keep on manipulating these timeframes to fit my point, but the overall point that I am trying to make here is that on the 1 day, we're getting there, and I would like to see that there is that confluence of indicators basically confirming the very, very same support level. It's very thin, although thin didn't seem to matter over here, but I think that it isn't something that I'd like to sit comfortably with. I mean, if Bitcoin did end up dumping right now, I don't think this is going to stop Bitcoin, because there is going to be so much momentum behind this chart at that time. Just in my opinion, I think that if we do end up dropping this low, I think that there is going to be a lot of momentum behind Bitcoin, and that could mean that we're just going to penetrate straight through this level. It would be different if the cloud was thicker like it was over here, but it's not thick over here, and the thinner the cloud, the weaker the support in this case. So that is definitely something very important that I am having to keep in mind with this Ichimoku Cloud at the moment. Let me know if you have any other questions. I think I'm pretty much, like I said, I have pretty much finished up what I had to say. If we can shoot up those likes one more time, subscribe to this channel if you are new around here. Don't know what the hell that was. As I said, there are quite a few new viewers. I see you guys popping into the channel. If you do want to gain access to all the other videos that I put out, and you want to see them first, then definitely hit that subscribe button. We're all about real analysis on this channel. I'm never about sugarcoating what's happening. You know, I don't really care a whole lot if the price does go up or down. I'm just here to make money in both directions. If the price is going to go down, I'm going to go short. If the price is going to go up, I'm going to go long. I don't really care. Obviously, I prefer if the price goes up. Everyone prefers if the price goes up, but you know, I'm happy with both, and my take is always just to stay as neutral as possible and analyze it until I'm ready to be extremely biased, because you need to be biased in order to trade, and then I will, you know, once I do become biased, I'm just going to stick to one particular viewpoint and just, you know, put money behind it. You know, that's my take over here. I'm getting a lot of comments about XRP. I don't really like to look at Ripple a whole lot. You know, Ripple's one of those things where its trend is so clear, but somehow I've consistently lost money on this coin. You know, I've made really nice profits on it too, don't get me wrong, but my success rate trading Ripple is so bad compared to all the other coins. I mean, it's all the other coins, I'm always, you know, generally making much more than I lose, but Ripple just seems to be the exception. I've made big profits on this coin, but I've lost a lot more. Yeah, I don't usually lose a huge amount, I just lose more often with Ripple. So I'm not really going to look at this. In fact, I'm going to delete it off my watch list right now. There we go, Ripple's gone, don't really care. It is dropping, it always drops, and people are talking about how it might end up, you know, spiking up, and this is one of the things that make it unpredictable. Tron does it too, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of drawings. Whoa, that was weird. Let me start deleting these. Tron does this all the time as well. It's just that I think that Ripple is a little bit more unpredictable than Tron, and you know, you've got the whole Ripple army. I don't even like that audience. I don't even, you know, I don't even want the Ripple audience watching this channel. I think they're not smart enough. You know, it's one of those things where, like I said, I don't really care what's going on with the market. I'm just here to kind of make money on the way up or make money on the way down, and what happens doesn't concern me a whole lot. You know, I'm not here to sugarcoat my analysis and tell you what you want to hear. Only thing I want to do is be as objective with my analysis as possible. And then position myself to make money off it. I want to take a look at Link. I got a text from somebody I used to work with about Link. Is there a Phemex chart for this? Let's see. Yeah, there is right here. So I trade these kind of things on Phemex. If you want a link to Phemex where I can give you some exclusive benefits like a deposit bonus, for example, then just reach out to me following these steps. By the way, these steps give you direct contact access to me, so definitely do follow them and just ask if you want to sign up there. Obviously UK members cannot do that. UK viewers shouldn't even be watching the channel anymore. I'm going to be looking at this on a different exchange though. Let's go for Coinbase. Coinbase should have enough price data. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, Coinbase goes back a year. You know, I think there's not a whole lot that's interesting on Link. I don't know why everyone was asking me about Link today. I've not looked at this chart a whole lot. What I'm seeing right here is that we are trading within a rising wedge, which is within a longer term downtrend. So take a look at this. We've had this before. We've had a lot of rising wedges on Tron, on Link before. Actually, we've got one over here. We've got a longer term one that looks something. Let me draw this properly. We've got one right here. Another one over here. You know, another one right here. I mean, Link does this all the time, You know, they got big ones. Link has big ones. Link has small ones. Take a look at this. Link has very steep ones sometimes. But this is a very typical pattern on the Link chart. So actually, if this continues, you know, I mean, just looking at the shape, this is the only thing I care about at the moment. This shape has played out so many times, and each time, it's completely, you know, just drop the floor afterwards. I mean, let's measure these dumps. Just out of curiosity, from here to the low, 19%, from here to the low, 29%, from here to the low, 27%, and this one was probably the worst one, yeah, 40%. These are big drops. We're talking about 20%, followed by 20%, followed by 30%, followed by 40%. I mean, you know, these are big drops to be seeing one after the other. And I think one of the other things that's concerning to me with this chart at the moment is the fact that Link at the moment is in a very long-term rising wedge, right? If we and you guys know that I love doing this. I love measuring these kind of things. You know, if we measure how long each of these continuation patterns have been, you guys remember what a continuation pattern is now, because I spoke about it at the beginning of the video. If you know what these continuation patterns are, and you look at how long they've played out for, first one was 2 days, this was 11, this one was only a day and a half, this one was 8 days. The one we're looking at right now, though, if this is a rising wedge, is a month. And this is so significant to me, because if we do end up breaking out of this one, because this one has been such a long-term rising wedge, I do think that it could end up meaning Link is going to dip by quite a bit. I think just because it has been in a longer-term rising wedge, it could see, if it does drop lower, a much steeper drop. And I think the bad news as well is, if we do throw on our beautiful beloved VPVR indicator, let's take a look at where, I've got to refresh the page again. This is so annoying. Let's take a look on this Link USD chart where the VPVR is showing us, oh, this is the wrong Link chart, 1 second. I'm going for, I forgot which chart, right, Coinbase, looking at Coinbase. If we take a look at this is going to help me kind of show you where I might start to expect some support for Link. And if we really do zoom out, all of that support, right, the main point of control on this chart, the main areas of interest are all the way down here at 3.7 and $2.2. I'm not saying that Link is going to go all the way down here, but Link has already seen really big drops. And so my point here is that it's not out of the ordinary. It's not it's not impossible for Link to get absolutely destroyed, you know, because it's already happened. And I mean, let's really put it into perspective too. From this high all the way down to this low, it only took 40 days for Link to get destroyed by minus 63%. And this is at a time where Bitcoin has just kept showing more strength, you know. So it's not like the whole market was weak. It's just that Link has gotten destroyed, and it wouldn't be the first time that it does, and that's kind of, you know, that's the point I want to make. If we end up dropping from, you know, the bottom of that rising wedge by another 63%, 64%, bam, where does that put us? Right at the spike on the VPVR. I mean, this is no coincidence. If it drops the same way it did from this high to this low, if it drops that way from here, we are looking at roughly a 65% drop, which is the same thing that we saw before. And I just think that these numbers are too perfect to be coincidences. This is just how technicals work. Again, I always talk about how people will say things like technical analysis doesn't work, but it's not true. Technical analysis does work. It's just that yours might not be very good. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It's almost like saying humans can't run fast if you can't, or it's like humans can't. It's like saying humans can't run long distances just because you can't do 2 minutes on a treadmill. You know, it doesn't mean that if you can't do 2 minutes on a treadmill, that a professional, you know, marathon runner can't do 26 miles, or even that the average. And this is the big thing I like to talk about within the VIP group. It also doesn't mean that the average person can't do 5 miles, because here's the thing, like, in order to be a good trader who makes money in the long run, you don't need to be the top 1%. You don't need to be the absolute godfather of the markets, the kind of people that people write books about. You know, that's not necessary to make the kind of gains that most people look for. You just need to be good enough. You just need to know how to exercise the right risk management. I'm not a special trader. In fact, I'm an idiot, and I tell you that regularly. I really am an idiot, and I still am able to walk away from the majority of my trades in the green, even if my analysis is wrong. And that all comes down to risk management. That comes down to making sure that I don't allow myself to trade with any emotion at all. I don't even open up the opportunity for emotion to be involved. But more importantly, that I'm exercising my risk with my stop loss. I'm exercising my risk management with my stop loss, for example. I'm moving my stop loss to break even as fast as possible, which means that even on bad trade ideas, I make money. And it's all about, you know, and it might not be a lot. It might be only small gains. You know, for example, 17% on gold isn't absolutely massive. 35% on Cardano isn't crazy, but I'm doing this over and over and over and over again. I mean, in my opinion, that really is the beauty. It's doing these things over and over and over, compounding these wins, and all of a sudden, it turns into something a lot sexier than just that. And if you're curious, by the way, just to see what the power of compounding gains are, I'm going to do this in a calculator right now. This is and I didn't do this. Most of these profits I closed. In fact, all of these profits I only closed part of my position at these levels. So that's why I said a 35% profit. But you know, just to give you a very real example of how compounding profits work so well in your favor, where you don't have to be chasing these cocaine 180% profits. I mean, they come to me, sure, so I'm going to take it, but I don't go out of my way to find them. And this is, you know, just to make a point. If you've got, for example, $100 and you make, you know, 35% profit, and then the next trade you make 87% profit, and then the next trade you make 17% profit. I'm just going to run this through because I'm curious to know what the number is. You know, 74% profit on the next trade, and this is assuming that I just put, you know, I'm putting the same money, I'm recycling the same money into each of these trades. $100 into each of these trades would have netted me altogether $745, and I did this over the course of 2 months. I mean, this is just what I did. Obviously, there were some losses in between, which I can't remember because they weren't significant. You know, obviously, as usual, there are losses in between. But just looking at these winners, if I kept recycling the same money, and I closed all of it at these peaks, it would have, you know, multiplied my money by times 7. That's the beauty of compounding gains. That's why I don't look for absolutely crazy numbers and different things like that. I'm just looking for booking those small gains up and down, and then, you know, the home runs, the big winners wherever I can, like I did with Bitcoin, like I did with Tron, and different things like that. So if you want to see how I've done it, we are running our biggest ever discount that we've offered, 50% off. You can find out what the deal is by following these steps right here. It is ending very, very soon. Our first reminder message is already on live, has already been sent in within the FORFLIES Gold group. So definitely check it out by following these steps. It takes you less than 30 seconds. You can literally just pause the stream and find out what's going on there. So there you go. That's the link. Let's actually, before I move on, do throw in your questions for the last little bit of analysis. If there's anything left that you want me to cover, I want to see what the Fibonacci is showing for Tron, though. Sorry, for Link. This is really, really good, this Fibonacci. It's actually showing me, drawing it from this low over here that we established on the 14th of March. This is going back by about 7 months now. This support all the way up to this resistance. Look at where we found support. We found support over here initially on 21st of September at the $8.65 level, and then we did it again at roughly the same area just this month, you know, about 15 days ago. We found support at this level, which I think is really, really important. On our big rally up to $20 for Link, it found resistance where? At exactly the 0.618 Fibonacci level. And As you know, in my opinion, this is the most important level on the Fibonacci retracement. And so seeing that we did end up first finding a big bit of resistance here and then even bounced off this level now, this is very, very reassuring. In fact, this chart, it keeps respecting these fib levels really, really well. The more I talk about this, the more inclined I am to trade this, because as we can see, we did find a little bit of support off the 382 level, and this is even set the high at $20. This is how impressive this what we have with Link at the moment. This is how impressive this formation is on this chart. I mean, we ended up, if I zoom out a little bit more, before we even set the high at $20, we were already using these Fibonacci levels. We found support here, then we wicked down. Take a look at this. We hit $20, we were crashing all the way down, and look at exactly where it stopped. Bam, right here on this yellow line, which also happens to be the 0.382 level. And if you haven't already done the math, 1 take away 0.382 equals 0.618. These two Fibonacci levels are exact mirrors of each other, and look at how reliable they've both been. Look at these big support hits, look at this big resistance hit, look at these support hits over here, and then look at these big resistance hits most recently, just a couple of days ago, just 2 days ago. We've been using these lines so beautifully to find resistance, to find support. And so I would expect, just like we nearly did in the past, that we might end up bouncing off this 0.5 Fibonacci level. So if we do end up falling here, this could be a good bounce zone. If we do end up bouncing off here, then I do actually think we'll break this resistance next time, and I would start to look at potentially finding some resistance over here. As long as Link is able to get above this line right here, I would start getting very optimistic about it. And more importantly, if Link actually ends up, let me take off let me just take this drawing off right here. If Link does actually end up rising above this line, and then it comes back down to test it as support, this to me would be the biggest sign of strength for the Link chart, and actually it would make me very inclined on trading this. So as I said, this is one of the coins that I am trading. This is one of the coins that I am interested in opening positions on. I will be looking at doing this hopefully very soon. This chart looks really good to me, so I am going to keep an eye on it. Actually, I should add it to my watch list right now, because I'll probably forget it if I don't. So let me do that really quick. The Link USD chart from Coinbase, and I'm going to move this all the way up to where Ripple used to be. Give it a nice little purple flag. There we go. Bam, done. So that's what I'm looking at right there. Shout out to Sean No saying just subscribed. If you are a new viewer to the channel, definitely do hit that subscribe button. Even if you've been watching this channel regularly but you haven't subscribed yet, trust me, you do want to see these videos as fast as possible. They're very timely. So definitely do whatever you can to gain access to these videos as fast as possible. Like, for example, turning notifications on, joining our free Telegram channel where I'm giving you free analysis anyway. So definitely, yeah, definitely keep an eye on these things. What else have we got? Harris asking, if Bitcoin passes 20k, do you think 100k is in sight? Yeah, I've covered this a couple times. Maybe, you know, I mean, Bitcoin might be able to hit $100,000 if it clears $20,000. I think that's actually, you know, I think it would make a lot of sense. And I've made videos on this in the past too. So I'm already open to the idea of Bitcoin hitting $100,000. It's just that it's not something that hugely concerns me, because, you know, I think that, you know, and I make this very clear all the time, you know, no matter what Bitcoin does, I'm going to be there to trade it on the way up or on the way down. So if it does end up clearing $20,000 over here, yes, I do think that 100,000 could be in sight, but honestly, I don't really care. Shout out to Kurt as well, saying that he's just subscribed. Lots of new subscribers coming in on these streams. You guys know how it is. I love doing these live streams. Thank you, American Herb Shop, saying that you love my analysis. Really appreciate that. Michael, no, I don't like Ripple. I just don't think it's interesting. I don't think any altcoin is interesting. I don't care about any of them, only Bitcoin and Ethereum. But yeah, you know, 100k could definitely be in sight, but you know, short answer is I don't care. You know, I'm just going to trade it on the way up. I'm going to trade it on the way down. I don't really have any Bitcoin holdings. I don't really care about holding it as an investment. I think it's boring. And my primary problem with investments is it takes a really long time to pay off, and actually it's not even in your control. So not only does it take a really long time, but you might not even be correct, and you won't know the answer until a really long time. And that's my issue with it. My issue is that, you know, if you are new and you're looking to make money, then you're actually, just as I always say, just sitting there holding your dick in your hand, just waiting for something interesting to happen. Whereas actual traders who've taken the time to go through our amazing advanced academy, just like this yearly member did over here, now making beautiful 50k profits inside of a week. And he started off making much less than this. I mean, he wasn't very confident, didn't really know what he was doing, and now has his bearings very well. People like this guy end up making the profits that investors dream of, and he does it within a week, what an investor might be looking to hit after 2 years. I mean, it really is a completely different world, and that's why I don't find you know, the topic of Bitcoin going to 100k particularly interesting. I just want to do whatever I can between now and then. Check gold. Absolutely, I will check gold. And Harris asking again, will these live streams become a regular thing, a weekly thing? Yeah, I mean, ideally more than a weekly thing. The only issue was, yeah, all of these connection issues. I mean, speak of it, it's happening again. I mean, a couple of people have told me that there's no connection issues. A couple of people have said that there are. So I don't really know. But I do want to do these more regularly, as long as there's no issues like this, because it pisses everybody off, probably most of all me. But yeah, I do love these live streams. They get me very excited. I can, you know, once they start, I just keep going. You know, it's no effort. I don't have to put any effort into to maintain these live streams, just because I really enjoy them. I get to take your questions and stuff too, which is really good. You know, gold at the moment, I think that its resistance is very light now. I mean, we've broken this green line so many times. Not only have we broken this green line, but also this this green box right here on the gold chart is also a resistance area. And I mean, take a look at how many times we've ended up trading inside of it now. You know, let's switch it over to the 4-hour time frame, and we can really start to appreciate this, where you know, we did find a lot of support over here within August and September of this year, and we keep peaking into this range again. So I think just the fact that we keep on peaking into this range, and gold keeps showing us signs of aggression, trying to break up, this is very exciting for me. I don't think that you know, that gold is going to be able to be held back for much longer. It's almost like a worse version of Hodor holding gold back, and it's not going to be able to hold the door, and gold is just going to absolutely break out. Just going off what I'm seeing, that's my opinion, that's my view. I think that gold is going to break out. I think it has a very nice setup at the moment, and you know, it's all a case of, I think once this green box is cleared, I think it could just absolutely shoot out. So I already traded it before. I'm probably going to enter another long position on this very soon, and of course, as usual, I'll be keeping VIP members updated with that as well. So there you go. Chad Smith just subscribed. This is amazing. Really appreciate it, guys. Link is often respecting its lines, and Link has bigger recoveries after big drops. Yeah, good point. I will keep an eye on Link. I won't trade Link Bitcoin. I'm actually moving away from all of these Bitcoin pairs. I'm moving towards USD pairs. I know that more people like the USD pairs as well. There's more liquidity on USD pairs, and by the way, they're pretty much the same. They almost always move in pretty much the same way. So it's not going to be particularly difficult to make that move. It's just a bit annoying, but yeah, I'm not hugely interested in staying to Bitcoin pairs. So each new coin that I start trading, if it is a crypto, it's probably going to be traded against the US dollar. I mean, I think that is the main way most people like to trade these things. I'm going to round it off over there. We're up to another 70-minute live stream. This seems like the average time for these live streams. Really enjoyed this one. I can tell that you guys have as well. Let's shoot up those likes one last time before we do sign off. If you haven't subscribed already, definitely do that. I really appreciate your support. It's been amazing. We've had a lot of uptake with VIP members, a lot of people who really understand, and I think this is the biggest thing, that this market has been hot for a while, but it just keeps heating up. It keeps getting more and more exciting, the US elections around the corner, second lockdowns could be, a second, third wave, whatever, of coronavirus, vaccines around the horizon. Is there going to be a recovery? There's so many questions within this market right now, and we have a lot of VIP members who've decided that they want to be prepared to trade all of those things with the best possible skills and setups they could have, so that they don't run the risk of losing lots of money when the market really does start taking off. And actually, I think maybe even more importantly, that they can make more money as well. We've seen this happen with a bunch of members. Obviously, not every member has these kind of results, so you have to read the disclaimer, which we're going to send you when you do ask for information on our 50% discount. But we've seen really good results across the board, and it is, from people who want to be prepared to trade this market. People who want to be prepared to trade this market in the safest way possible, see how I trade it in what I consider to be my safest way possible as well. All of that happening right in real time. It's a beautiful time to be a trader right now, in my opinion, and I am looking forward to getting your messages. In fact, I think we've already seen a couple of messages from people who want to find out some information, so I'll get to you right away. We've actually brought 2 more assistants onto the team as well. 2 more assistants on the team to help with all the message load and stuff like that. So definitely able to cover more time zones and stuff like that as well, which is quite important. Really appreciate all the new subscriptions, guys. I think I'm going to round it off over here. If you want to gain access to more of these, to more of this content, more free analysis, and even some occasional information on the trades that I'm making, it's all in our free FORFLIES Gold Telegram channel, which is the first link in the description down below. Click on the @FORFLIES button and then send message to ask me how to join VIP as well. Like I said, it is currently 50% off. Just find out what these people had access to. Obviously, you don't need to join or anything like that, but this whole process, this whole process will be very quick. So definitely do if you are interested. I am getting a question to analyze silver, but silver is quite a big commodity, and I don't want to look at it right now because I'm just not I just haven't looked at it much, so I don't want to give a badly informed opinion on silver. I mean, the last time I looked at silver was like 2 years ago, so so definitely I'm not the right person to be looking at it. Shout out to Jan from Serbia. I've got a friend in Serbia who I want to meet. Hopefully I'm going to be driving there. I was supposed to drive there this year, but there was the coronavirus issues, obviously. But hopefully next year will be different. All right, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Hope you've had a great one, and I'll catch you in the next video, catch you in the next live stream. I don't know what it's going to be. Hopefully it's a live stream with no tech issues. We all love them a little bit more than videos, and I'll see you later. Bye.